Welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and settle in for our practice today. Finding your comfortable seat, noticing your body, noticing your connection with the earth below you. Noticing our breath, coming into connection with that. You're just watching it for a few inhales and exhales. You might go ahead and let the eyes rest, closing or finding a soft gaze and allowing yourself to tune in a little deeper to another level with your body and all the things it may be experiencing. And then let's inhale, one hand up overhead, fingertips towards the sky, and imagining this hand is like a lightning rod drawing you into yourself. So gathering all of our thoughts, our energy, our emotion, our everything, as if we're drawing it like a magnet to our hand. And then we'll slowly, with an exhale, bring that hand down towards the crown of the head, down in front of the face. We'll bring this hand to rest at our heart center. So with this motion, imagining we're drawing ourselves right here into our heart space, bringing the mind to rest in the heart, bringing all of us together, just this gathering together. We can hold the hand in front of the heart and rest in this core space. Breathe into this space. Arrive in this space. As you rest here, you might see if an intention surfaces for you for this practice. Something to draw your mind, your heart, your attention back to, something you wish to cultivate. Seeing what comes up for you as you rest in this heart space, as you settle in yourself and you find your why you are here today, what you might wish to grow in this time. And then we can let the hand rest down on the legs. We'll take a little scan of our body, noticing our head space, noticing our neck and throat, noticing the shoulders, the arms, the hands, any places the hands might be touching on the body. Noticing the chest and back, the belly, the hips, the legs, knees, ankles, feet, toes. Noticing your whole bodily self. Noticing your energetic self, where your energy is at in this moment. It's feeling zippy and abundant, or maybe slower, tired, all over the place, or settled. Noticing our emotional selves. Noticing our mental selves. Noticing our breath. Inviting ourselves to just embody this space that's this complex meeting point of all these aspects of ourselves. Just being present with all of our experience. We'll do a little breathing exercise called calming the waters. So if you wish to open your eyes to watch it, you may, or you might just follow along with the words, or maybe you know the practice. So we'll go ahead and we'll inhale, drawing the hands together in towards the navel, and then leaving a few inches apart between the hands so they don't quite come together. With that inhale, we draw the hands up towards the heart. And then with the exhale, we reverse that motion. So the hands draw down the center of the body, and then they spread out just above the hips, out wide. And then we bring them back together with that inhale. Similar to what we did earlier, drawing ourselves together. And then up the center of the body and down. So you can follow your breath, your rhythm, your pace. Inhaling ourselves together and exhaling, releasing that effort, spreading out. You might imagine your hands are these powerful, magical hands spreading out over the waters, the ocean waters, inviting them to calm, smoothing out the wrinkles of the waves like creases on a sheet. You might imagine all of our own waves and edges, our zippy and complex energy and emotional, mental experiences. We're inviting those to soften, to loosen, to gather and center, and to let go and release. If with your intention, there might have been a word or phrase or image for you, you might hold that word, phrase, image, whatever it is in mind, and repeating it with your breath and the motion as we sit here, as we breathe, as we be. We'll take a few more of these calming water breaths. And we'll let ourselves settle, let your breath find its natural pace. We'll bring both hands to heart center, palms together. Settle into this new shape. And then we'll take a few ohms together, 3 ohms. You're welcome to join in if you wish. So we'll get on the same breath together, inhaling full. And exhaling, letting it go. Inhaling for our ohms. Om. Om. before we move, let's just linger in the experience of these ohms, letting those vibrations reverberate through your body, awakening you, calling your attention to your now moment, your physical body here, your connection with the earth beneath your seat. And then opening the eyes if they're not already open. Let's go ahead and start out seated. We can bring our hands just behind the hips here, feet on the floor, knees bent, and we'll start with a few windshield wipers. Just allowing the hands to go wherever feels most supportive for your body. Just tune in with our hips, the spine a little bit. Get a little bit of a massage for the glutes here along the floor. And then we'll center and go ahead and roll down onto the backs. You might roll down slowly. See if you can let the spine roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Just noticing how that experience goes. And then relax the back along the floor, arms along the side. And then we'll inhale, lift the ankles, the shins, and invite the knees up towards the sky and seeing if we can get a right angle-ish between thighs and calves here, engaging the core. So we get a little bit of a tail tuck here as we draw the belly button down towards the earth and the hips curl up a little bit. And then let's roll our ankles. So circling both ankles in one direction. And while we're at it, might as well roll the wrists, waking up our joints. You might invite fingers to move as well. And then reverse directions with our circles, keeping that engaged core. Breathing. And then we can let go of that. Go ahead and draw both knees into the chest. You can give a little rock side to side here. And come back through center. We'll go ahead and send the left leg long, drawing just that right knee in towards the chest. Maybe a little out to the side of the chest. And then we'll take that foot and press it up towards the sky. We can bring hands to the thigh. If you have a strap with you, you're welcome to use a strap, looping that around the foot. Otherwise, we can just use our hands here, holding onto the thigh, pressing the foot up to the sky, and then inviting the leg a little closer in towards the chest and just exploring our edges here with this shape. We can rotate the foot left and right, kind of inward and outward rotation there. With that rotation, we can see what happens when we just move the foot and the ankle, but we can also move our leg as a whole. So ankle, knee, and hip all as one unit, moving in and moving out. We can also bend our knee, drawing the thigh a little closer in towards the chest, and then straighten the leg. We can go ahead and play with that a few times, finding our edges, and then inviting that knee to bend, drawing the leg in maybe half an inch or so, and then seeing about straightening again. And just playing with that. Then we'll go ahead and I'll take an outward rotation. So toes, ankle, knee, hip, all rotating to the outer edge of the body. Hug that thigh in and then slowly let that leg come out to the same side. Our opposite arm, we might ground onto the lower leg, the thigh there, or the ground next to the body, as the right arm supports the right leg going out to the right side. And as we move out in this direction, we can move in two directions, moving down towards the earth and then also inviting that foot back up towards the head. We can play with those two directions and at the same time trying to stay grounded down through the left side of the body, giving us that leverage for our stretch. If it's a little too much, you can always bend that long leg. Instead of having the leg long along the earth, you might try bending the knee with just the foot on the floor and see if that's more supportive for you. It feels good to have that leg long on the ground. Working this pose for you, this shape for you in this moment. And continuing to aim for that outward rotation through the whole of the leg and then see if we can notice that stretch through the inner thigh as we spin outward as we hold the leg out. Let's take one more breath over on this side. And then we'll inhale ourselves up through center with that leg. Another hug in towards the chest with this thigh. And then we'll take an inward rotation of this leg. So toes, ankle, knee, hip, all rotating in towards the center of the body. And then now the right arm might come to rest on the ground. Left hand can take over and support. And we're going to invite this leg to go across the body, maybe just a couple inches at first. Finding our first sensations and just being with them, breathing with them, greeting them, listening if we do need to move out of them or if we want to move deeper in with them. But we don't need to neglect just that initial point of greeting and witness. Something we can take with us outside of the physical sensations too. And feel free to continue taking this leg over across the body down towards the earth on the other side. It doesn't need to go anywhere in particular. Maybe it stays just a few inches crossed over. But we can take this practice of just greeting the sensations that come up throughout our lives with the physical experiences we have, but then also the emotional and the mental and the energetic ones too, as we witness what's happening, and especially those emotions we might color as negative, and allowing them to be there, just giving them that space to show up and to bring us whatever messages they have to bring us. Let's take one more breath over on this side, and then come back up through center. Go ahead and bend this knee, drawing the leg all the way in towards the chest. Maybe rotate that ankle again, one way, the other, letting go of the shape. And then we'll let that leg go long. So both legs are long on the ground. Notice what we notice. Maybe swish the legs side to side, the hips to ankles, letting it go. You might bend the knees, tapping the legs against the floor. And also some moments of stillness, quiet in the body to just take the inventory of what we've done, what we're experiencing now. And then let's switch sides. So again, that right leg is going to be long along the floor unless it feels more supportive for you to bend that knee and have the foot flat on the floor. Both are fine. Left knee will bend in towards the chest. It goes wherever it goes. And then we'll press that foot up towards the sky. And just creating the initial shape with this offering we're giving to our body. And then we can play with all of our different pieces. We can play with that bending of the knee, inviting the thigh, maybe half an inch, a quarter inch, an eighth of an inch closer, and then straightening the foot again up towards the sky. Probably losing a bit of that proximity, going back and forth between those. We can play with that inward and outward rotation of the leg and foot. Just exploring the sensations and lingering where we feel an invitation to linger, where the body says, ooh, something something good and sensational is happening here. We can also play with that gas pedal motion of the foot, taking toes up towards the sky and then back in towards the body. Mindful too, we can begin that grounding down through the opposite side of the body even now. So noticing what happens when you more intentionally are rooting down through the right side and what happens to the left side. Do you get any more leverage or flexibility or space to move when you have that support, that active support of the opposite side? And then let's take all an outward rotation of this leg, toes, ankle, knee, hip, all pointing out towards our edge. We'll draw the thigh in towards the chest, and then we're going to invite that leg out to the side. Right side of the body, grounding down. The hand might be on the thigh or the ground. And supporting our leg over in its journey down to the other side. Staying grounded through the right. Exploring, reaching out through the left. We also do that all throughout life too, where we need our secure bases. And when we have our secure rooting foundation, from there we can roam outward, thinking about children with parents, and when you have that secure caregiver with you, there's more freedom to roam about because you know there's that secure base. So being your own secure base for yourself, giving yourself this grounding so you know how you have this room to explore. Noticing your breath. Seeing if you can invite the breath into the spaces in the body that might be feeling more. Let's do one more breath on this side. And then inhale the leg up through center. And preparing to switch sides, we'll take an inward rotation, hip, knee, ankle, toes. Bring the opposite hand to support the thigh, and maybe we go over just an inch. Breathing our first sensations, welcoming them, respecting them, listening to what they're telling us. If we wish, maybe we explore another inch or half inch or so, another 6 inches, whatever it is for you. Again, we have those two directions we can work with, going over across the body and then a little bit up, back up towards the ear. See, what does that feel like when I invite the leg up? And then again, do I still have that inward rotation of the leg? And the breath. I breathe into the places of sensation. Do a few more breaths on this side. See how far out you can stretch that leg. Maybe imagining you're stretching that foot even farther out to the side as if it could touch the wall out beyond you. And then we'll inhale ourselves up to center, leg up towards the sky. And exhale, let go of that, drawing the knee in towards the chest, releasing the foot. A little hug of the leg in. And then we'll let the leg go long. So both legs long on the floor, noticing what we notice. You can be still, you can do the swishing, the little drumming of the backs of the thighs and the calves against the ground. Ankle swishing. And of course, some stillness, just to see what you see. And let's bend our knees, bringing the feet onto the ground, hands alongside the body. We'll press the feet actively into the earth. And again, just notice when we just make that engagement, what changes through the body, what seems like it might be ready to lift. And then we'll go ahead and lift the hips, curving up through the low back, the mid back, coming up into your bridge, actively pressing through the feet and seeing where that takes the back body. Opening the chest, drawing the backs of the shoulder blades together under the body. Inviting openness through the throat. And with our exhale, we're going to release back down to the earth and tucking shoulder blades, rolling through the spine. Taking a dip of that pelvis down towards the earth. Then inhale, drop both knees in towards the chest. And then send both feet up towards the sky. Engaging the core, drawing that belly in towards the spine. And seeing where we can invite both legs up towards the sky, maybe drawing toes in towards the chest. And pointing toes up towards the sky. And then we'll bend the knees, releasing feet back down. We're going to come back to that right angle shape. Still engaging our core. Let's roll the ankles again. Might as well get those wrists in there, waking up the joints, reverse our circle. And then release feet down to the floor, keeping engaged with the navel the whole way down. We'll tip that pelvis again. And with our inhale, roll back up. Lifting hips, low back, mid back, coming back up to our bridge. Breathing at the top of your bridge. And releasing the shoulder blades, rolling back down. Seeing if you can go vertebrae by vertebrae. And noticing what you notice through that exercise. Are there spots that feel a little bit more sticky? Maybe 7 vertebrae move as one, dipping the pelvis at the end. And then we're going to engage the core again, bringing the feet back up to the sky, coming back to that right angle shape. Engage the core. And then feet up towards the sky. And then we can lift hands maybe, see if we can reach hands up towards toes. See how far we might invite the toes back, as if they wanted to reach the floor behind the head. And then we'll release the feet, so we come back to that right angle shape. Hands can come down to the floor. Breath here. And then release feet down to the earth. One more tip of that pelvis, and we'll roll up through our hips and the spine, noticing what we notice as we try to come up vertebrae by vertebrae. And breathing at the top of your bridge. And with our exhale, we'll roll down again, rolling out the back. Tipping our pelvis and releasing. Let's inhale both arms up overhead, inhaling arms up to the sky and then back behind the head. And with our exhale, we're going to roll ourselves up to a seated position, grounding through the feet, coming up. Let's once more take that first shape we did, bringing our hands down to the earth and swishing knees side to side, our windshield wiper legs. And then we'll take ourselves over to one side, come onto our hands and knees. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll take a cat-cow here, dipping the tummy, looking forward. And then with our exhale, we round the spine. The gaze goes back towards that strong navel. And inhaling forward. Exhale, round. One more round of cat-cows. Moving with your breath. Come back to a neutral position. Chest relatively parallel with the floor beneath you. We're going to have a slight bend in both elbows. Shift the weight over into the left hand and inhale the right arm up high, parallel-ish with the earth. And then the left leg up high. So the opposite arm and leg lifted, both aiming to be parallel with the floor, parallel-ish, whatever that feels like. Keeping that slight bend in the supporting arm and engaging the core, drawing up towards the spine. And then we'll exhale, release both hand and knee back to the earth. Let's take a cat-cow here. And back to neutral. Making sure we have the bend in the elbows again. We'll lift the left arm this time. And then the right leg, opposite leg and arm. Imagining this hand and foot that are lifted, if they could stretch as far away from one another as possible, forward and back. Actively pressing our hand, supportive knee and top of foot into the ground. Engaging the core. And then we'll release back down to our hands and knees position. Another flow through the cat and cow. Inhaling, dropping belly. Exhaling, rounding. Let's do another flow of that. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, round. Coming back to our neutral. Take the first side again. We're going to inhale, right arm, left leg. See if we can do it at the same time even. And maybe you do just one at a time, just the arm, just the leg. Maybe the hand just hovers off the floor, or maybe just fingertips are there supporting while the back leg lifts. Find your variation. Where are we working with this play of strength, balance, attention? And we'll bring hand and leg back down, flow through our cat and cow. Back to neutral. Inhale, left arm, right leg. And keep breathing here. Imagining that long stretching between hand and foot. Same time, you've got that strong supportive core giving you this foundation in the center. From our strong center point, we can reach out far with the hand and the foot. And exhaling back through center. Inhale for cow, dropping the belly, gazes forward. Exhale for cat, rounding the spine. Back through center. Inhale the right arm up and out to the side. Maybe up overhead, stretching through the shoulder. Gaze following that open arm. And then we're going to exhale, thread this arm underneath the body, underneath the opposite arm. Bringing our shoulder down to the earth, bending the opposite elbow. Maybe the head comes to rest all the way down on the ground. Left hand can stay where it is, or maybe you send that arm out farther away from the head, out in front of you. And then we'll bring, if you extended that hand on the floor, go ahead and draw it back to that starting position so you have that 90-degree bend in the elbow again. Actively press that hand into the earth and stay here. Just notice what happens when we begin that pressing. Pressing the hand into the earth, what feels like it wants to lift. And now we'll press the hand and inhale, opposite arm back up towards the sky, back open. And exhale, we'll bring the hand back down to the mat. Cat cow between our sides, inhaling, looking forward. Exhaling, rounding. Back in our neutral position. We'll inhale the left arm up high, out to the side, opening our side body. Gaze following up that hand. And then with your exhale, we'll bring that hand back down to the earth and thread it under the opposite arm, down underneath the body. And then right hand again, it can stay just as it is with that bent elbow, or maybe you slide that hand forward on the floor, stretching it out long in front of you. If you stretched out that hand, go ahead and draw it back in towards the body. So we get that bend in the elbow again. Press the hand actively into the floor, noticing this experience. And then inhale, we'll lift the opposite arm back up, opening the side body up towards the sky. And exhale, bring the hand back down to the earth. Cat cow, inhaling, exhaling. Back to our neutral. And now we'll go ahead and bump both of our knees back an inch or two. We'll tuck our toes on the floor, bend the elbows, noticing just this preparatory shape, what your body is feeling, engaging the core again, drawing that navel. Inhale, pull here. And then exhale, we're gonna send the hips up and back, coming to our downward dog. And adjusting our stride as we do. Maybe hands need to walk forward or feet back. Finding your length. Go ahead and pedal out as you arrive, bending one leg and straightening the other. And all the while, see if you can invite those hips up and back. We have this tendency for the shoulders to come back in line over the wrists, but we can just send it all back via the hips. We can check in with what would happen if we invited both heels down towards the ground at the same time. Just noticing. And then we're going to shift our weight forward so the shoulders are over the wrist, coming into our plank position. Again, you might adjust your stride. Slight bend in the elbows here. Maybe moving the feet or the hands, engaging the core. Slight bend in the elbows. Gaze just a few inches out in front of the hands. Then we can lower our knees and tuck the toes. And let's lower halfway down with the upper body, down towards the earth. And then releasing the chest all the way down to the earth. Even chin can come to touch. And then we'll inhale, lifting the chest, coming up to our baby cobra. Keep breathing here. Maybe you come back to your intention you set for your class today. Where are you in your intention in this moment? How can you embody it or be it or expand it? Can you just invite it, welcome it this moment? What happens in your body when you do that? And then we'll tuck our toes, press hands into the floor. With our exhale, the hips go up and back again, back to that downward dog. You can be here for a moment, stretching it out, one leg at a time, one sweet calf at a time, hips up and back. Let's plant the left foot, inhale, the right leg up and back as high as we can. Noticing what we notice through that supportive leg as we send this foot up and back. And then with your exhale, we're going to go ahead and step this foot as far forward as we can. And then the back foot coming up to match, coming to a forward fold shape. Allow yourself to just hang here, bend in the knees, a sway side to side. Maybe some big audible exhales, letting yourself really surrender into the shape. And then ground through both feet. Feel yourself pressing actively into the floor with that. Bending deep through both knees. We're going to inhale, rise. Arms coming up overhead as if we're scooping the earth and offering it up to the sun. And then exhale, hands coming together, palms together through heart center. Coming to rest right there in front of the heart. Breathing in your arrival. And we'll let the hands go. Let's take a moment to shake ourselves out. Let yourself be loose. Shake out legs, knees, ankles, toes, all the joints in the arms to the fingers, through the back body and spine, the neck. How loosey-goosey can we get here? And then we'll make our way up to the top of our space so we've got room behind us. And find our stillness now. Let some of that collective stuff go. We'll inhale, arms up overhead towards the sky, gaze skyward. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step the right leg back long behind you. Hold the breath, the left to match. Breathe here in your plank position, engaging the navel, slight bend there in the elbows. Letting the gaze be soft and steady, and witnessing what happens for you in your body in this shape. If knees need to come down to the earth, by all means, bring your knees down to the earth. We can charge our breath, making it stronger and more powerful, giving us strength in this place. And then we'll lower the knees, untuck the toes, and exhale, lower the chest down to the earth. Inhale, chest lifts, gaze out in front of us. Let's continue breathing here. Drawing the shoulder blades down the back body, the backs of the shoulder blades, and together. You might find engagement through the thighs and the glutes. What happens if you actively engage those? Maybe even toes might lift up off the ground. What happens if you play with that? Let's release all the effort, letting ourselves exhale again closer down to the earth. Take an inhale, fold. Tuck the toes and exhale, hips up and back for downward dog again. Continue breathing here. Pedal it out if you wish. Maybe see what happens if both heels invite down to the floor. Active with our inviting of the hips back behind us. And this time we'll press the right foot down to the earth and inhale our left foot up and back behind us. Seeing how far back we can send those toes. Inhale, fold here. And exhale, step this foot forward. Bring the back foot up to match, going back up to that forward fold. Let's go ahead, nice bend in the knees. And walk the hands around over to one side, tacking back the opposite hip. Getting a little twist through the spine, through the side body, nice stretch there. And then we'll walk around the other way. Hands don't need to be on the ground, they can be up in the air, just wherever you're at. And as much of a bend in the knees as feels good for you here. Coming back through center and release as much as you can down towards the earth. Nice bend in the knees. And then inhale, swooping arms up. Another offering to the sky. And exhale, hands down to the heart center. Breathing here, full breath. Back up to the top of our space if we migrated. Inhaling both arms up high to the sky. As you reach up, feel your rooting down through both feet. Feel the core, your belly. And exhale, fold forward. Inhaling, the left leg steps back long. Stay here, continue breathing. You might tent fingertips up onto the floor. And then we'll work that front foot to the outside of the hand. So both hands coming inside that foot. And then the back foot, we can pivot down to the floor. Shift our weight over into the right hand. And inhale the left hand up towards the sky. Maybe just towards the hip. So we open through this side. If you have blocks or supportive features like blocks nearby, and that's easier, you might place a block there for the hand to be on. We'll take one more breath here. And exhale, bring that top hand back down to the earth. We can pivot back up onto the balls of the back foot. And bring the front right hand back to the outside of that foot, or the foot to the inside of the hand. And then we'll go ahead and step that leg back long, coming back to our plank pose, finding your strides, like bend in the elbows, engaging the core. And then again, the knees are always available to drop down to. Otherwise, let's go ahead and lower halfway down with the elbows. Continue engaging that core. And then release the knees and tuck the toes and lower the chest down. This time we'll bring arms out in front of us, or hands out in front of us. You might have just the forearms down there on the floor in front of you, lifting the chest. And then as you lift the chest, actively drawing the shoulder blades down and together. And then it's up to you how close the arms are to the body, or how far out in front of you might set them. The farther away, the lower that curve in the back, and the closer in, the deeper the back bend you're going to be working with. And also it'll just change where in the back that back bend is happening, right through the spine. You can explore and play with that yourself. You might see if there's a particular point in the spine where you want to articulate that curve, and then explore for yourself where placing the arms, actively drawing them in against the floor into the body, you might be able to get a little more leverage to play with that curving. What does it feel like to really articulate that bend in the low back, somewhere in the mid, more in the upper. Again, the more active you are in pressing the arms, the hands into the floor, the more leverage you get. More room to expand and bend out. We'll take a few more breaths here with this shape. And then we'll lower the chest down to the earth with an exhale. We'll bring hands back in just in front of our shoulders. Pressing hands into the floor, we'll tuck our toes and exhale, hips up and back to that downward dog. Go ahead and meet it, arrive, keep breathing. Pedal whatever you want in this downward dog moment. You might even try lifting both heels and letting the shoulders move more over the wrists and then sending both heels at the same time back down towards the earth. And as you do, pressing the hips back behind you, creating a full rocking through the body motion. And we'll plant our left foot, inhale the right leg up and back. And exhale, step it forward. Bring the back foot up to match. Hanging in our forward fold. Send the hips back as far as you can as you hang out here. And hands can be wherever they want. Maybe they're on the ground, maybe they're on the shins. Maybe they're just up in the air. Actively sending our hips back and noticing that stretch all through the backs of the thighs. Release all effort, melting down towards the earth. And inhale, rise, scooping up towards the sky, extending long through the belly. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Bring back up to our space and let's shake out our bodies again, legs and arms, spine. And both feet flat on the floor, centering down through our feet, down through the ankles, centering your weight, your body. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, fold. And inhale the right leg, stepping back this time. And again, we're going to move that front foot to be outside of the hands. Hands moving inside foot, foot moving to outside of hands, however we get there. If we have blocks, hooks, or something supportive for the hands, we might explore that. And then we can drop the back foot down so the heel plops down to the floor, toes are pigeoned out a little bit. There's just feeling into this shape, what's going on for our hips, the thighs. And then we can open up to the side, shifting our weight over into that left hand. The fingertips maybe just tend to that. And we'll inhale, lifting the right arm. Maybe the hand comes up towards the sky, maybe just to the hips. And seeing how active we can be through opening up our side. We expand the chest. If toes are clenching, can we unclench the toes? Using our breath to let go of tension, to release and soften. One more breath on this side. Bring the top hand back down to the earth. Bring that foot back to the inside of the hands and send that foot back. Coming back to your plank position, engaging the navel, slight bend in the arms. And again, invitation to lower halfway down, bending through the elbows, engaging our core the whole way down as if we're trying to keep the belly parallel the whole way down, releasing the knees to the earth if we wish. And we lower another half an inch, another quarter inch, and releasing knees, untucking toes, chest goes down. And inhale, chest lifts back to that baby cobra. coming back to your intention. Maybe taking a moment to appreciate this change in perspective. The head so close to the earth. With you probably don't normally take throughout your life. And what do we experience here? This change of perspective. Let's tuck the toes, press hands into the earth. Exhale, hips up and back for that downward dog, pedaling it out. Go ahead, plant the left foot, inhale the right up and back, and exhale, step it forward. Bring the back foot up to match, hanging here. Rooting both feet, bending the knees. Inhale, arms up overhead to the sky. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Full breath here. I'll release the hands. One more loosey-goosey shaking out of the body, letting go of all that stuff. And let's take our legs wide this time, wide-legged stance. Take our arms out wide, opening the chest, throat open, gaze skyward. Big starfish shape for ourselves here. And then exhale, fold forward. Hips going back in space. We'll walk the hands forward or just move them forward out in front of us. Release the hands down towards the center, beneath the body, between the feet. We're going to plant the right hand there in the center and inhale the left arm up high overhead, giving a twist to the side. And then release down. Planting the left hand, inhale the right. Inhale, full. And then release this hand down. Take a nice deep bend in both knees and inhale, rise, arms up overhead. Go ahead and pivot both heels in, so toes are out. And then exhale, we're gonna sink the hips. Arms can come out to the side, fingertips towards the sky, elbows bent. Light through our toes. You can even see if you can lift the toes up off the ground. Engaging the navel, dropping shoulder blades down and back. You might pulse here slightly with the hips rising up and down. Maybe see if you have another 1/4 inch lower you might go. And inhale, rise, arms up, point toes forward. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift here. Exhale, fold. Toes point out, heels in. Inhale, rise, arms up. Exhale, sink the hips, bend the elbows. And as you settle into your shape, explore it, notice your sensations, breathe into them, and then see if you have deeper edges you can find. Maybe another 1/4 inch we can drop. To be light through our toes. You might play with shifting your weight just to help find your center, find your balance. What happens when you move forward and back? That's enough curiosity. Inhale, arms up, toes forward. And exhale, we're going to send our arms out to the side. And then bring hands back behind the body. Maybe fingers will interlace. Maybe we'll just reach them back, drawing the backs of the shoulder blades together and opening our chest up. Inhale, we're going to take the opposite motion, bringing arms out through the side, out in front, and then crossing the body. Maybe hands come towards opposite shoulders. And then exhale, open. Expanding the chest, hands maybe interlaced behind the back. Just reach back for one another. Inhale, arms rise up overhead. Toes out, heels in. Exhale, sink the hips, elbows coming out to the side. We can take these cactus or robot arms, or maybe you want to try hands to heart center. See what that different shape feels like for you. And we'll inhale, rise. Arms up overhead. We can point toes out in front again. And then exhale, fold forward. Hands coming down in front of the body, releasing down to the earth. Once more, we're going to send our hips back and bring the fingertips out in front. Deep stretch. Release the effort. We bend in the knees. And inhale, rise. Arms up. Gaze skyward. Exhale, hands to heart center. Breathe here. We'll release the hands. Bring the bodies down to the earth. Coming onto our backs. Hugging both knees into the chest. Becoming a little egg. Rolling ourselves side to side, front to back. Arms hugging legs in. And centering ourselves, we'll go ahead and invite the knees to open up to the side, bringing the soles of the feet together. And we can reach hands out towards the feet, grabbing onto the feet. And then you might draw the feet slightly more in towards the body. The arms might give a slight press of pressure out against the thighs to invite a little more opening there. But just being gentle and kind with your body, what it asks for and needs. This is uncomfortable for the knees or anything. We're respecting that and listening to what your body asks you to do in response. You can, if you're able to press the arms into the thighs with that pressure, you might explore what is it like when you invite that pressure closer in towards the hips and then a little bit farther up the thighs. You don't need to go out towards the knees, but just in that upper thigh region. And then we'll release the feet. We can bring hands to the outside of the legs and close them back together like a book. One more hug of the knees into the chest. And then we'll bring the feet down to the floor, knees still bent, arms resting on the floor alongside the body, pressing feet into the floor, dipping the hips. And then inhale, coming back up into our bridge once more, active through the feet. And release down to the earth. Go ahead and send both legs long on the floor. Give them that rocking side to side. Maybe you see about stretching one leg farther from the body and then the other one. And taking any last motions your body might be asking for in your practice today, in your practice this afternoon. And then whenever you are ready, coming into your Shavasana shape, taking your time to get there if your body's asking for these last shapes. But when you're ready, coming into your rest. Legs might be long on the floor. You might have something supportive like a blanket under the knees, or you might even bend the knees with the pee on the floor. Might keep arms and legs all close in, or maybe you want to take a starfish shape. Spreading arms and legs out wide, making your body like a bowl. Whatever shape you find yourself in when you do arrive there, let's go ahead and take our awareness through our body once more, starting with the parts of the body connecting with the earth below us and the spaces of air between us and the earth. So taking our awareness down through the back of the head and neck, the shoulders and arms, fingers, back up the arms to the shoulders, and down through the back body, the spine, the hips and glutes, and down the legs, thighs, backs of the knees, calves, ankles, heels. And go up the soles of the feet to the toes, and then check in with the part of our body facing upward, tops of the feet and ankles, the shins and knees and thighs and hips, the belly, the ribs, the sides of the upper body, the chest, the heart space, up to the collarbone, and down through the tops of our shoulders, the arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, and fingers again. Back up the fingers, hands, wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, to the neck, and throat, to the jaw, the lips and mouth, your cheeks, ears, nose, eyes, the eyebrows and space between them, the forehead, crown of your head. You might imagine as if water was dumped over the whole of your body, or a nice warm honey-like liquid, as if your whole external body was covered in something. Can you cover yourself with your attention and your awareness? Can you cover yourself with maybe the sensation of light, like the sun against your body? So hold your whole self in your awareness, in a cocoon of your attention, maybe even your care, compassion, and love for this body that holds you. And then can you let that water, that honey, that light, that awareness seep in through the skin, following into the pores, coming in to reach muscles, tissue, organs, bone, and blood. And you take this loving light, this witness of your attention and compassionate sight into every cell of your being. You feel your energy, your life force buzzing within you, toe to heel, to hip, to shoulder, to finger, to nose, to head. You imagine that every buzzing cell is alive with life, with your loving attention, with your commitment to care and nourish this body that carries you through every day. Can you drop deeper still into this body and being? those other layers, the emotional layers, the mental layers. And can you love and see every bit of this part too? And you take yourself into your most core, your most central channel, your truest self, and you hold yourself there in that space and offer a witness, offer the light of your loving gaze, willingness to see your whole self, to love your whole self. In all these places of dark and light, movement and still, awake, asleep, active and passive, receiving and giving. And you hold all of yourself and rest here. Know yourself. Once more, witnessing your body, witnessing the sensation of the pressure of the body against the earth beneath you, and the rising support of that earth to hold you. Sensation of clothing against the skin and air, temperature. Witnessing your breath and expanding it. Releasing it just as much as you received it. Inviting movement through your body, fingers, toes, arms, and legs. Coming out of our reverie of stillness and that sleeping depth. As you're ready, rolling over onto one side, giving pause and breath, witnessing this new sensation. And as you're ready, coming up to the seat, your own comfortable seated position, whatever that might look like. We'll close our practice today with our closing peace song. Words are Om Shanti 3 times, which is peace in Sanskrit. Om and peace 3 times in English. Hands can come back to heart center, palms together, centering back into yourself. Maybe recalling that intention you may have set earlier in your practice. We'll inhale full and let it go. Inhale for Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you all so much for practicing with me, for creating this container for us to practice in together. May you go forth with deep breath. That was rest and breath, with deep rest and breath, and that continued witnessing and openness to love and see yourself. Namaste.